loving these dragon scales. Ah, they look great. So I started putting sheets of plastic over them after I do them, you know, so they don't dry out too fast and I don't have to keep watering them to keep them wet enough. And these stick fairly well, and I'll lean a stick against it. These are all off because it got windy and blew them off, but it's okay, they were already hardened by then. In this row, I've just got, well, a little bit more than one square left, so I guess I just have to come up with my scissors and cut pieces to fit around this door. It's gonna be I don't know, I'm gonna have to have two separate pieces. I don't know, maybe I can, no, I can't fit one. I'll have to do two. Well, anyway, this is the last little bit for this row, and then I have to get higher than I can reach. And I have an idea in my head about how to make a thing to get up to the next row. And the way I think this is going to happen is every time I have to get higher, I'll just do whatever I need to get up to the next level. I'm not going to worry about the levels that I'm not at yet. I'll just do one level at a time, and you know, that way each time I do a thing, I only have to go up a little bit and just figure out how to get a little bit higher. And yeah. All right, I guess let me get those done. That shouldn't take very long. And then figure out this steppy thing. Now, I've also been taking days off, you know, to let my fingers heal, because working with cement kind of wears holes in your fingers. So right now everything's looking good. I'm gonna get to work. Oh, and before anyone gets worried, when I say taking days off, I don't mean like sitting around doing nothing. I've been, you know, working on gardens, planting stuff, and, you know, doing other stuff like that. Oh, it looks amazing. I guess I better not mess with that for a while. Okay. If I'm standing at the level of the bottom of one of the points of these, I can reach the top. And I'm not going to get any bigger squares going up. The squares will actually get smaller going up. So the point on the next one up will come down to about here, because this part's all mesh. The plastic doesn't start till somewhere near this corner here. So I need some kind of platform that'll reach kind of right up to the bottom edge of my fingerish. And I should be able to reach the whole next level. And I'm thinking, all right, I have a platform up there, and a couple legs coming down, you know, some supports up to the top, and the legs coming down to a flat thing that I can clamp onto this ledge, because this ledge is not very big, but it does have a steel cable around it, so I mean it's pretty strong. So if I clamp something on there, it should be able to lean there without sliding off and me dying. Yeah. Alright, how high is that? Well, maybe I should just go have lunch and let this harden before I start coming out of that door and messing it up. Ooh, let's go have a cocoa plum. Beauty. I don't want to fall down there. Well, that seems 2 or 3% safe. I've also got a safety line going up here to connect to myself. And I climbed up there, held onto my safety rope, and scrubbed where the next tile goes, washed it off. And it felt pretty good. Didn't feel like this was going to slip at all. Clamped in at the bottom there. Man, this doorway came out really good. When I did the tiles here, I made the mesh go up and right inside. So I got this whole edge nice. Alright, I guess I'm ready to go up there. So I have to figure out what size tiles I want to do at the next row. Okay, so as the dome goes up, it obviously gets thinner, right? So that means there's less space for tiles all the way around. Now, since each tile kind of overlaps the ones below it, like between, it has to still be the same number of tiles all the way around. So that just means as they go up, the tiles get smaller. And they don't have to keep getting smaller all the way to the top. Like Once they get down to like half the current size, then the next row I can just make double and get back to big tiles. So it would just go across, it would span 2 tiles, and I just cut the bottom, you know, like that. Anyway, so right now, when I did the bottom row, which was just the half squares, which is triangles. Sorry, my brain's also thinking about how to do this. I haven't figured it all yet. Anyway, so I did the bottom row, which was the triangles, and then I did the squares above that, and I made those all the same size, and I just made the triangles at the bottom kind of like spread out, so they were just barely overlapping. So the next row would overlap kind of a good amount. And you know, the next row is just shifted it down a little bit to get, you know, right into that bottom, anyway, to make sure it overlaps right. Now the next row, I mean, ideally it would be slightly smaller than the current, than the last row of squares. However, based on the size of like my rolls of material, like the mesh, I'm using the whole width. So if I cut 10 centimeters off the side, then I have this 10 centimeter strip that kind of gets wasted. The plastic sheeting isn't as much of a issue because it's just in a giant thing. So I'm cutting off strips, whatever width I need. But I'm going to waste a lot of a lot of the mesh if when I go down a size. So I'm kind of thinking to keep the same sized tiles, and they'll just overlap sideways a little bit more. And maybe start shrinking them the next row up, or maybe the one after that. I don't know. I can do some calculations, but they shouldn't have to be much smaller on this row. So I think I can just do them the same size. Yeah, let's just do them the same size. Sounds good. And the reason I want to do them the same size is because they'll overlap a little more on the side parts against each other. So there'll just be a little bit of extra overlap. But I'll still get the height of the full size. So I won't be wasting that much. And that will keep me from wasting the mesh. And yeah, I'll get the full height on the next row. Yeah, I think that's totally worth it. All right. And then, well, and then nothing. I'm just going to do this row, and then I'll figure out the next row. Okay. I'm going to cut some pieces. Oh yeah, I already cut off a strip of that plastic stuff and wrapped it around this to get any wrinkles out, because it sucks when there's wrinkles in this stuff. And I'll cut some of this. All right. I think I'm ready to go. Yeah. All right. Let's just go do one tile, see how it goes, and then one more, one step at a time. Let's go. One step at a time, don't worry about what's next, just do this right. Oh yeah, cutting, that's all I'm doing, just making some little cuts. Cut, 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 cut. Okay, so right now, I'm reminded of a question that people ask me a lot, which is, yo, Jamie, what do you do when you're feeling totally overwhelmed by some project you're trying to do? And since I'm feeling that right now, I'm just going to answer. Just go one step at a time. Like that's all I do. So thinking about the roof right now and how I'm going to manage all the pieces and move that thing in a timely fashion and get off. There's just so many things to think about, and how I'm going to get the higher level. No, just think about, just put myself where I am right now. Right now, all I'm doing is cutting some plastic sheets. And then next, all I'll be doing is cutting some mesh pieces. So I guess, you know, I figured out what I needed to do, putting my head in a big picture kind of mode. But then when I actually start doing it, I just want to focus on whatever piece I'm doing and not think about the whole thing. And once I get going, once I get a few of these squares up, I'll start feeling not so overwhelmed. Like once I start making actual progress, like everything will kind of, I don't know, smooth out, turn amazing. You know what I'm just realizing is that it hasn't rained in several days. And all my buckets out here are empty. These kind of sit under where the gutter is and fill up when it rains. And this is the water I usually, this is the water I normally use to do the roof. And I do have like a big water tank for my, my main water supply, but I don't like to use that for concrete. If I'm doing a little bit, fine, but the roof uses a lot, so I don't think I want to use that water. The smart thing would be to wait until it rains. The emotional thing would be to go put up some tiles because I really want to do it. But yeah, the smart thing would be to just wait till it rains. So I guess I'm gonna go do something else today and probably tomorrow. I don't know, maybe it'll rain tonight and I can get some done tomorrow. That'd be great. That's not a bad afternoon of work. Pretty wiped out now, and I think it's dinner time. That thing goes all the way up, real gradual, till it reaches the top. And, oh, I got mud on my camera. Oh, it wasn't blocking too much, the mud. So, I imagine myself in a few years running along trails like this that go all over the island, all over the place. And they'll be covered in Bermuda grass, otherwise known as golf course grass, which is there's a little chunk of it right there, and a little chunk of it over there, and one over there, and I just put them all over the path so they'll start growing all over the place. And yeah, it'll be like a golf green, so I'll be able to run with bare feet, hopefully, which will be kind of nice. It's nice running in bare feet without stomping on thorns and stuff. And part of my brain says, oh my gosh, that's so much work getting those trails everywhere and all that grass growing right and everything. That's not gonna happen. But then what this house behind me says is, shut up.